Alright, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy Heroes video. As promised, this is the 3v3 testing for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, or should I say against Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, in preparation for Grand Arena Championships 3v3, which I do need to remind y'all starts today, so if you haven't joined, do be sure to go do so. I'm sure most of you have. This video will be part 1 of 2, because I did end up maxing out my refreshes. Again, I do accept PayPal if y'all want to send me money for the crystals. Just kidding. This is for the love of the community. This is part 1 of 2 again. So I did not get to some of the testing I wanted to do. So I did not get to any sort of like Thrawn teams. Thrawn is a very key component in countering the Galactic Legends because he can fracture them. Unfortunately, they're hard-coded to go against them, so sometimes it's not effective without a pre-taunting tank. But regardless, yeah, this part 1 does not include any of the Thrawn teams. And after I post this video, I'm sure a lot of you are going to want to have some testing, additional teams that y'all come up with, and I'm perfectly willing to do that. So we will do that in part 2 as well. So do be sure to comment below with any sort of additional teams you want me to test. I will be testing tomorrow, so y'all can expect that video tomorrow night. The format of these videos is going to be, I'm going to have the part 1 today, part 2 tomorrow, and then I'm going to post a condensed version where you're not looking at me basically, attempting the same battle 3 or 4 times. You'll see one attempt, and you'll have my commentary on it, and it'll be for both parts 1 and 2. So there'll be three videos for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, just like there were 3 videos for Galactic Legend Rey. Now, okay, so let's go ahead and get into the footage. My good buddy Mal Vader, thank you, sir, for setting the 3v3 team on defense. I've got a great shard. They have all been very willing and very helpful and putting some 3v3 teams in for me to test against. So thank you to Mal Vader, and thank you to German guy who's the Rey testing. And I believe my buddy Reptile is going to help me tonight as well once I get to the part 2 of Supreme Leader Kylo Ren testing. So we'll have a couple guys to thank here. I do appreciate y'all. I did tell Mal Vader to set Supreme Leader Kylo Ren obviously as a lead with Hux and Sith Trooper. The reason why is because I don't know that First Order Officer, even though that's a good team to use in terms of like speed and offense, I didn't think that First Order Officer would be the best lineup on defense because I think Sith Trooper is going to be the more offensive viable with all the assists, and if you kill for Hux, you get that massive AoE damage from Sith Trooper. So I think that that's probably the lineup you'll see on defense. That is my recommendation. Thrawn, or I'm sorry, not Thrawn, Hux is very important to give that turn meter back over to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, so he's kind of needed in the lineup. And then again, like I said, Sith Trooper is really good. So that's why I told him to use that. You may not see that. I really don't think you're going to see Supreme Leader Kylo Ren on defense, simply because he's not as defensively viable. You'll see here today that he does perform a lot better than we probably would have expected. Giving his reputation, but I still don't think you'll see him as much on defense. I'm certainly not going to put him on defense because I'd rather save him for offense, especially if I'm going up against the Galactic Legend Rey. But yeah, I don't think you'll see Supreme Leader Kylo Ren as much on defense. However, if you do, I hope this video helps. So let's go ahead and press play on that footage. You'll see here first that I'm going to test out Jedi. Now, Jedi in a 5v5 have been a viable counter. I do not have any videos on that, but I do believe It's Just Ian has quite a few videos of that. You probably have seen those. Do go check those videos out. In this lineup, I go with a Jedi Knight Revan lead with Bastila and General Anakin Skywalker. I think this is close. Now, I want to preface, as you can see there, my Jedi Knight Revan is only gear 12, and my Bastila is only gear 12. So just know that going to this. And this first team, or this first lineup that I'm testing, does not have God mods. So this has like, 5-dot mods, maybe purple, good speed, good offense, but not like maxed out mods. So do know that. I wanted to test that first to see how close we got. So the problem is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is hard-coded to go against gas first. And Supreme Leader Kylo Ren opens up with that locked stun ability for 2 turns, I believe. So you basically, your gas is out of the battle for 2 turns. Very fortunate dodge there on Sith Trooper for him. But yeah, this, without the nice mods, I didn't get it anywhere close. So next up, you'll see me going into the footage and editing my mods. I believe I take my Bastila. So my 2 fastest mod sets are my Bastila Fallen, which is plus like 135, I think. And then my Darth Revan, which is like plus 140. I know a lot of y'all are probably going to laugh at that. But just know that like I probably represent the average of you, because I know not everybody has God mods. Some people have great mods. I choose not to focus on mods. I know that's not a good thing to choose to not focus on. But yeah, I just don't enjoy mods, so I haven't really focused on them as much as I should. So there went, I put my fastest speed set on from my Bastila Fallen onto my Bastila. And I'm going to go here next and put my Darth Revan speed set, which is my second fastest speed set, on my Jedi Knight Revan. Now, in previous videos, we went straight for speed, which I think is incredibly important. But as we've been testing, we've kind of noticed that sometimes it's better to have survivability. Survivability can actually get you a long way. But sometimes it just doesn't matter. Sometimes, even if you have speed and survivability, it won't work. So, as you can see there, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren opened up, and what did he do? He stunned my gas. So, we'll see here in a minute. I do believe I ended up trying with a pre-taunting tank. Didn't work either. There goes the Savior already. I do believe I passed the buffs over here I tried to stun Sith Trooper because I wanted to wait to use the buffs. And my gas is just getting hammered. I did pass the turn meter over to him to try to get him out of the stun, and it did work. I call in him to assist. We're almost getting through Sith Trooper. The reason why I'm going for Sith Trooper first is because if by circumstance I'm able to get through Sith Trooper, I might be able to go for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is very tanky as well, if he's modded correctly, so it's hard to get through him anyway. So I might as well go ahead and get through the Sith Trooper because of the AoE and the massive damage that's coming from him on all the assists. As you can tell, I didn't get very far. Now, at the time when recording this footage, I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm super close. I feel like maybe I misplayed that. This made me mad. I accidentally went in with forgot to take out my Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So there's a waste of 50 crystals. But yeah, so I feel like the Jedi were super close. And maybe I misplayed it. Maybe I should have marked somebody else. Or maybe I should have put in a pre-taunting tank. But the problem is if you put a pre-taunting tank in, you're losing Bastila, which has the call to assist ability and all the buffs. So, I don't really know. I mean, the problem with 3v3, and to be clear, a lot of people hate 3v3. I love 3v3. I think it's really cool. It's a lot of theory crafting and just really fun. But the problem with it is this right here. When you're going up against a super maxed out new meta OP character, a lot of times in the free-to-play counter teams, you need a very, very, very specific lineup in order to get through it, because like each person has a very critical role. And we can talk about that in a minute. Yeah, so that battle right there didn't go very well. I thought I was really getting close on the Jedis, and I think I'm close. And maybe if I was Gear 13, Relic 7, I think you'd stand a better chance, because you can tell like we're getting through a lot of the survival or a lot of the protection there, and we even got rid of Sith Trooper once or twice. So I think it's certainly viable. I switched out leads here because I was like, you know what, maybe I can go for some additional survivability, like we talked about earlier. I think I got a little bit closer, and I certainly lasted longer, but still, it wasn't quite enough. Back to what I was saying about the full 5v5 teams, like in a Galactic Legend Ray counter, the free-to-play one, which is, you have your Darth Revan lead, your Malak, your Bastila Fallen, your Thrawn, and your Watt. Each one of those characters is incredibly vital for that team. So you need your Thrawn for the fracture, you need the Watt for the speed and the tech, you need your Malak for the taunt, you need Bastila Fallen for the fear and the ability block, and then you need Darth Revan for his leader and his fear. And if you don't have those, that team's not going to line up. So that's the problem with 3v3 is, if you're missing one or two of those characters, you start to realize how incredibly vital those characters are to your team. And so yeah, it's kind of interesting. I really enjoy 3v3. I know a lot of people don't, but yeah. So we'll still going on about this with this Jedi footage. I probably stayed on Jedi too long. I just really felt like I was close, and I knew that in 5v5 Jedi works. I really think you need a pre-taunting tank here. But the problem is you either have to sacrifice, you need gas, period. But the problem is you have to either sacrifice Bastila or Jedi Knight Revan. And both of those are pretty important characters here, so I don't really know what to do. Again, do comment down below if y'all got some ideas, and we can test it out. There goes the ultimate. And I believe I lose them both there. Yep. So there goes our there goes our Jedi. Again, Gear 12. But these mods have been redone. I think I might go for it one more time, or maybe I go to gas here. Let's see. Yeah, I'll go for gas. So this one I do win. This one I do believe I win. If for some reason you get paired up against two Galactic Legend, and let's say you have Galactic Legend Kylo, which would be my case, and they put both on defense, I would recommend you use gas on offense, and then or you use gas for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and then you use Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Wat Tambor, and maybe Hoda for the Galactic Legend Ray team. That's probably going to be your best bet in order to beat that team. Here, I don't really think it matters which clones you go with. Rex might be kind of vital because of the speed up, but really, you're just kind of waiting for them to destroy your 5 first, and then gas will come out and take the rest of the team out. As long as your gas is modded well for protection, and mine's got okay protection. But you can see here, he survives, and he's getting them on the counterattacks. So it gets really close and gets pretty dicey. But the counterattacks and the cooldown increases from hitting on a crit are really just destroying this team. Boom. So yeah, gas does work. That's probably going to be your best bet. Just make sure your gas before joining Grand Arena is modded well for protection, and you'll be fine. So moving on to this next footage. Here I believe I decide to use my Darth Revan to see if Darth Revan works. So I had to go back into my mods and put my speed mods back on my Darth Revan. And that's what I'm doing right here. I do think Darth Revan has a viable chance, but unfortunately, if you have a very tankily modded Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, it's not going to work. And while we're talking about tank mods, let's discuss this. So, originally when I got my Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, I modded him straight for offense, a little bit of health and speed. That's what I modded him for, and that's what I have him currently set for. I have not joined Grand Arena yet. Through this testing, and well, yeah, let me finish that thought before going into another thought. Through this testing, we have seen that when you're going against Galactic Legend Rey, if you have your Kylo Ren modded correctly, it's almost impossible for her to defeat you once you get rid of the first few characters on her team. Which, if you have a full 5v5 lineup, is pretty well, it's pretty easy to do that. So Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, if you mod him for health, he actually can survive quite a long time. He can survive against multiple AoE attacks or the ultimate attacks from Rey. Like, I've had him survive against 3 ultimate attacks from Rey. So in theory, if you mod your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren for health, you might actually have him last longer. And that's something that me and Bulldog have talked about. But I do want to shout out my guild or my shard mate Reptile. He told me to mod my Supreme Leader Kylo Ren for health to start with, and I didn't listen to him, and I went for offense instead. I do want to say this, though. The reason why I went for offense, if you're going up against a gas team, yes, gas can hit like a tank, or hit like a truck, and on the counterattacks, it can be fairly deadly. But fortunately, you have that stun ability on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and if you time it right, you can always stun gas and you're fine. So that's really the key there with a gas team. So offense is actually really key for going up against a gas team, because you can stun and get the opposing gas down below, or get his protection down so he goes into cover fairly early if you have a lot of offense. Where if you don't have a lot of offense, you have a lot of health, you won't get through his protection as quickly, which means it's going to take you a lot longer to get through the battle, which means you're probably going to lose a lot more of your supporting characters. So there is a con to putting health in when you're going up against gas with a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren lead. But in general, if you're going up against Rey, I'm going to highly recommend that you go against a Rey with a high health mods. I think this is just going to make him more survivable. Like I said, I have survived up to 3 ultimates from Rey and been fine. As you can see, let's go back to the footage so I won't keep droning on about mods. As you can see from the footage, Darth Revan did not work. I didn't even get close. I don't even think if I put Thrawn in, it would matter. Here, I decided to use a Geo team, give the speed over to Spy from Watt, and see if I can maybe get out in front and hit Supreme Leader Kylo Ren for a big hit. Didn't work. In theory, it would work. My Geos are Relic 4, and my Watt is 5 stars. Didn't really matter. It was just a theory crafting video. On to the next one. I believe I take out, or maybe I go for the same one again. I can't remember. Let's see here. No, okay, I know what to do here. I go with General Grievous. So I do a full Separatist team. The idea here is that if your Droideka is incredibly slow and survivable, that you can use your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren to, or you can use the Droideka once the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren goes a bazillion times. You can use the Droideka to do a huge hit with a true damage on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, but unfortunately, as you see there, my Droideka didn't survive past the first attack. This is kind of the way it went with Galactic Legend Rey when we tested this team against Galactic Legend Rey. So I'm not incredibly surprised. There goes the ultimate. That is definitely overkill on my B1, but you know what? That's all right. That's all right. Okay, moving on to the next one. I don't know what I use. I think I use Commander Luke Skywalker here, if I'm remembering correctly. My Commander Luke Skywalker are okay mods. Good speed, good damage, but they're only gear 12. So if you have gear 13, this might work, but the problem is, you'll see right here, I believe my Chewie gets stunned. I do stun Hux, so he couldn't pass the Terminator over to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, but my Chewie's gone, and the AoE got my my CLS and Han there. I mean, again, I've more so modded my Rebels for speed and offense, so maybe if I had modded them for health, but then again, if you mod them for health, you're losing a lot of the offense that you really need to take out that team. So I don't know. I don't know if Rebels would work. I think Rebels does work against a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren in 5v5. So in theory, if you had better Rebels, it might work. So don't take my word to say it doesn't work because my Rebels aren't that highly geared. This next one, I believe there's a YouTuber. I haven't watched a lot of his videos, but he goes by the name of Doombug, I believe, and he uses a I think it's a Count Dooku lead with a bunch of like Geonosians and Separatists to use Geospy's like ultimate ability there on Galactic Legend Rey, and he can beat her. The problem here, the reason why I threw in Jango lead is for the extra speed. I thought that might help get my Geospy out front. Did not work. I think I do get my Geospy out here to survive long enough because of the extra speed. I believe my Geospy goes here next. Yes, but I'm going to do the ultimate ability right there, and it does hardly anything. So I think you really need, I think the Geospy ability builds up over time, if I remember correctly. So you need that to build up over time, and that team's just not survivable. So credit to Doombug on the idea for that, and I kind of tweaked it with the Jango lead for the extra speed, and it didn't work. Moving on to the next clip. Let's see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so now I'm moving into mirror testing. Not that you would probably use this, but if you're going up 1 versus 1, and your opponent, both of you had Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and your opponent put Supreme Leader Kylo Ren on defense, this would be helpful for you. So I decided to use the classic tier 6 of the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren event lineup, which is the Hux and First Order Officer for... actually, no, excuse me, let me retract that. This first one I'm doing is the Sith Trooper, basically a straight up mirror match. I was fortunate there that the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren targeted my Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. If he targets one of your side characters, it makes it much more difficult because a lot of times your side character gets deleted. I stunned Hux because I didn't want Hux to get the additional turn. I stunned Sith Trooper. He's already gone. I believe I used the AoE here. And I think I'll lose my supporting characters here pretty quickly, but I'm able to go for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and get through him pretty quickly. So maybe I actually don't lose any characters. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't lose any characters there. Okay, so that one was fortunate because they targeted my Supreme Leader Kylo Ren first. If they target one of your side characters, it makes it much more difficult. So again, in mirror matches, you definitely might want to have a pre-taunting tank, but the problem is I don't believe there's one for First Order. Actually, no, there is. There's crew. Sorry, there's crew. So in theory, if you put crew in, that might help you out a little bit. I didn't ever try that lineup. Maybe I'll try that in my part 2 video. Crew would be a good pre-taunting tank to get you survivability. Here I took out Sith Trooper and I put in First Order Officer to give me the speed. I already lost my Hux right off the bat, so I don't think I win this one. I decided to stun Hux to keep him from passing the turn meter over to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So I stun Hux here, and then pass the turn meter over to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. The opposing Supreme Leader Kylo Ren already went. Used my AoE, got rid of Hux. Because I got rid of Hux, the Sith Trooper did that AoE damage. Look at that crazy damage from Sith Trooper there. That Sith Trooper actually is pretty survivable. Uses the stun to try to get some health back. Not enough because he goes his ultimate here. And I believe I survived this one. But it's just only a matter of time before he's going to defeat me because he's got his ultimate up and I don't. And there I go. So closer. But actually, I would say you have more of a chance winning against Supreme Leader Kylo Ren if you go in with your gas in 3v3 than if you mirror match. Because if you mirror match and they go for your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren or one of your supporting characters, it's not going to go as well for you. Basically, what I did here is I went back to the original lineup because I wanted to test to see if they always went for my Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and they didn't. There goes my Sith Trooper, which I do believe I won this one because I kept my turn meter from Hux alive as long as possible. So I was able to stun the supporting characters, which really kept me alive a lot longer than I would have had he gone for Hux instead of Sith Trooper. But regardless, yeah. Actually here, I do think I lose this one. So I kept Hux alive longer than I should have because I was like, I don't want to waste Supreme Leader Kylo Ren's ability on Hux. So I was like, I can go for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren here, and maybe I can get rid of Hux on an AoE. And basically, Hux brought the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren back from the dead, and I pretty much lose here because of it. So I should have gone for Hux there, but I was trying to be a little cheeky, I guess, and go for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. And oh, maybe I do win this one. I can't remember. Let's see, because I got my ultimate off. He's going to use his ability, and I'm going to come out and use my ability here. Do I win this one? No, he gets me right there. I was close, though. I was close. So I did lose that one because I was being a little cheeky and trying to not waste a huge hit from Supreme Leader Kylo Ren on the Hux when I probably should have done that. I do believe in this next battle that's exactly what I do because I wanted to test that and see if it worked. Let's see what happens here. So he goes for Sith Trooper again. My Sith Trooper's gone. This is why a pre-taunting tank would be nice. Then go for, I believe I stun. I don't know why I'm targeting Sith Trooper. I need to target Hux. There you go. Okay. So stun Hux. Pass the turn meter over to my Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Stun the Resistance hero, or the Sith Trooper, excuse me. Use the AoE here. Get rid of Sith Trooper. And I believe I'm like, let's get rid of... so I use the assist there. And then I'm like, let's get rid of Hux because I don't want that to happen again. He gets rid of my Hux. I go for him. He goes for me. I go for him. Actually, he gets 2 turns in a row because he's faster than mine. Use the AoE. He's going to have his ultimate here in a minute. Which is in perfect time for me to get my ultimate. I use my ultimate there, and I think I get rid of him right here. Boom. So, okay. So, yeah, it does work. Just don't get cheeky with it. If a character's close to being killed, get him. Go ahead and get him. Don't wait on it. You'll end up regretting it. Okay. Moving right along. This next test is, let's see here. I believe I go in with Watt and maybe Hoda. Let's see. Let's see what I do here. I can't remember. I believe it is Watt and Hoda. The theory behind this actually works against a 5 versus 2 or 3 Galactic Legend raid team, which I'll actually have a video for that coming up soon. If you can go and give the health or the Yoda ability, whatever it's called, Grandmaster's Training or whatever, to your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, which gives him more survivability, and then you can use the health tech from Watt and give it to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and basically it makes Supreme Leader Kylo Ren incredibly difficult to beat. You can take on a full, like, you'll lose the 2 supporting characters really early, like right there, against a raid team, and then you can take your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren on his own and defeat the opposing raid team. 1 versus 5. So it is possible. I was testing to see if that worked here. Unfortunately, I don't think I win this one. I think I get my pretty close. We'll see. There goes the Sith Trooper. And I believe I get Hux here in just a second. Use the AoE. Get some health back. There goes the ultimate. I do believe I get one-shotted right here. Or I'm close. I'm close. Okay. And then he gets me on this one. Yeah. Yeah. So, didn't work. I don't know if that's as viable against Kylo Ren, because Kylo Ren is incredibly, like, once he starts surviving a long time, he's got a lot of bonus offense. Here, I was shifting out my mods to, my speed mods to Hoda, to see if I can get him out to get the ability, because I think I lost my Hermit Yoda before he was able to give that tech over, or the Grandmaster's training over to my Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and I think that's what happened last battle. So basically what I was doing is I was adjusting my mods so that I would be able to do so. There I go, I stun. There we go. So I did get the Grandmaster's training off right here. I don't remember if I win this one or not. We'll see. I think I do. That little extra speed there from Hermit Yoda was able to give me the ability to get that Grandmaster's training on top of my Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. If that is not the name of that ability, y'all are going to roast me in the comments. I know it. I think that's the name of that ability. If it's not, y'all know what I'm talking about. I do end up winning this one. Now that I remember that, I do end up winning this one. And that Yoda tech actually is what kept me alive long enough. As far as mirror matches go, like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren versus Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure which one is better to use. Should you use a mirror match with Sith Trooper and Hux, if that's what they're using, or some like a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren with Crew and Hux against theirs? I'm not really sure. Or should you use something like Watt and Hermit Yoda? I don't know. I think you should probably check their mods first and see how fast they are, and go from there. So as far as the rest of the video goes, that's really it for right now. I ran out of refreshes there. I think the recording cut off and I didn't get a few of the last ones. And it was just some more mirror matching for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and that's probably not what y'all want to see, because a lot of you probably don't have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So I decided to end the video there. So like I said, this is part 1 of 2. Part 2 will be coming out tomorrow, and I'll be doing some Thrawn testing and any sort of additional lineups that y'all would like me to test. We'll go from there. I will have a condensed version of both put together, where we can look at maybe just doing just one battle, or one clip of each type battle. So you won't see like 4 of one team lineup and waste your time there. So for those of you who did stick around to the end of this video, I do appreciate you guys watching. Hope you did enjoy. Hope you do find this informative. If you did, do like, do subscribe, share this video around. Hope this will help people when we come to 3v3. Like I said earlier, I love 3v3, and a lot of people don't. I think it's very fun and encourage a lot of theory crafting in this game. It really changes the whole aspect of the game. Makes the game new for, 12 weeks, or 12 Grand Arenas, 4 weeks. So I won't drone on any further. Part 2 is coming tomorrow. Condensed version is coming the day after that, and then I will have one last video on these 3v3 testings with some additional raid testing that has been requested, but that probably won't be till later this week. I won't have time to get to it, so plus I need those refreshes. So anyway, without further droning on, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing, and we will talk to y'all in part 2. We'll see y'all then.